Hello and welcome to another Wraggys Beers, Wines and Spirits review. Tonight I'll be reviewing Wreckage. First ever time I've ever even seen the beer. Came out this year from Titanic Brewery. It says here this notoriously, I will read it properly. This notoriously strong beer is a firm favourite in the winter months. Some call it liquid Christmas cake. Tasting notes, this sweet malty winter ale has a port-like aroma with notes of citrus on the nose and dried fruit and cinnamon. Taste, taste create a warming effect on the tongue. So you see hazel brown, you smell raisins and port spice, and you take the taste is powerful, fruity, and sweet. 7.2%. So let me find my doodah. Oh, right, and here we go. So, Titanic Brewery, first ever. It lives up to its name. It's dark brown in colour. Ooh, look at that little beauty. So, I got this in the festive box from Titanic Brewery. Paid. I didn't pay for it. Son got it me for Christmas. I think it was 37 quid for the box. Create a lot of top class beers in the box. There was a chutney and mustard, if one prefers that, and also this snazzy looking glass as well, which isn't showing the Titanic name up, funnily enough, uh, as it is. So yeah, brownie colour pour, centimetre of white head on the nose. There's a subtle Christmassy fruitcake aroma coming off it on the taste. Ooh, winter spices, bit of a kick to it. Ooh. I won't call this a beer of the year. Well, so far at least, I would call it a very interesting beer from Titanic Brewery, of course. Um, Obviously, the people who make the good old Grand infused plum porter, Grand Reserve port infused plum porter. It's a bloody mouthful. And I've not seen any reviews of this. Obviously, last year it never came out for the reasons, obviously, COVID into it. That this year, there's lots of people, lots of companies bringing out new beers this year. And in fact, it's getting to the stage where you just got to tick the bonds that you really want. It's like supermarket beers. We all try and get every new supermarket beer. Amongst the beer review community, we all try that sort of thing. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not easy to do. You know, it's not easy to get all the new beers, costs and all that going off. So, nice sweetness in the back end there. Oh. So this is the strongest beer I've had from Titanic. Surprisingly enough, the Grand Reserve Plum Porter is only a 6.5% beer. So this is their strongest that I've ever seen. Anyway, they may well have done stronger. 7.2%. It's a decent strength, and I'd love them to do an Imperial Grand Reserve. Do they need to? No, no. Their Grand Reserve Plum Porter sells massively. And they don't really, obviously, duty gets higher on the more the price of the beers goes up. So the need to pull out something like an Imperial Plum Porter is probably not on their agenda. However, as we know, times are changing. Imperial beers, strength beers are in big demand these days. And if I was going to say anything to anybody from Titanic Brewery, if you ever watch these videos, obviously, is that there is now a need for an imperial version of the plum porter. Or could you imagine it's something 11 or 12 degrees with the taste that we know, but with a bigger oomph from the flavour and ABV, maybe an oak matured or whiskey matured plum porter. Oh, there were some very interesting roads that could be travelled with this beer. I mean, with a plum porter. However, this beer, oh, it's a treat, and you can only get it in the festive box. There is another box at 16 quid. So there's two. You can get it three ways. One is buying a case of it, pretty steep the price for a case. One is probably going to the shop if you live near Stoke, Burslem. I've actually been to the online shop. We went from Drayton Manor to Alton Towers, or the other way around, and we pulled into the shop early in the morning. And I think we were doing 3 day stint. We was doing 1 day at Alton Towers, 2 days at Drayton Manor. And so after the Alton Towers on the Saturday, we went over to Burslem, went in the shop, spent about 70 quid as you do, and got a cracking amount of beers. Yeah, that was a cracking. I was happy we got this. Where it is, it's on some back streets in Burslem. It's a real back out the way place to go. Me and a mate of mine, we are open to do the brewery tour, catching a train from Nottingham over there to do a brewery tour of Burslem itself. Brewery tour, to do the brewery tour in Burslem, that's what I meant to bloody say. But anyway, yeah, going down a true treat there. And obviously, we're coming to the end of the year now. Drank some amazing beers this year. I'm loving this. This to me is a proper Christmassy beer. It's got that fruitcake. I'll put the bloody thing up. It's got that fruitcake taste to it that the likes of Sadler's Christmas pudding stout had in abundance. And to be fair, King Goblin and Broadside also have this beer and those certain flavours that remind you of a Christmas cake. And luckily they're cheap as chips. So can't discount the supermarket beers. And I see a lot of people in the craft community looking down. Hey, you no need to look down. Those beers have been around for a lot longer than most of these craft beer companies have been around. There's a reason for it as well. The beers are amazing, and I'll never slag off supermarkets. I mean, it does pee me off that the ranges sometimes are stagnant, and especially some of the crappier beers, they need to disappear. I mean, to be fair, likes of Man's Brown Ale, ooh, yeah, even Newcastle Brown these days is a poor shadow of its former glory. And there's the thing with big companies buying beers, breweries, they kind of ruin it for everybody else. But so, oh, that flavour is lovely. The ABV really kicks home. And now you can actually see the Titanic emblem on the front. Obviously on darker beers you can't see it, so on lighter beers it stands out. I do actually have another Titanic glass. I must use that on different beers. So going down a treat, as I said, the Titanic's box is a box that's well worth treating yourself to. Obviously you've got to break, unless you live nearby, you've got to break that £50 postage and packaging, which isn't easy. For people on a low budget, the best time is to do it if you can. Two of you are doing it and go into, go in halves. In my opinion, at least, it is a struggle, especially for people on low wages or people who don't really want all the certain beers. I do wish that they did a pick a mix thing where you pick the beers you want, one of each, and made up your box. And even if the prices vary, surely it's not that big a deal for breweries to actually go out and pick boxes. I don't understand it sometimes. It seems to be, and it's across the country where lots of breweries won't do mixed boxes where you can pick your own, because they'll see this and they might want 3 bottles of this and not want, and they want specific beers, not just want what they're told they can have. I did actually send the message through, but they obviously didn't read it when I actually sent the message through. So, hey ho. You think these days of customer service that they'd be wanting to do their very best at all times. So 7.2% fruitcake flavours. Like I say, you look at the pour, crystal clear, brownie looking pour, a little bit of a whitehead. There was a centimetre of whitehead on the nose. It's subtle, but the fruitcake on the nose, but on the taste, that's where it comes into its own. It's a true Christmassy cake type experience. Ooh, that's some beer, that is. 7.2% out of 5 for me. I wouldn't say it was a beer of the year, but I would say it's a very, very good beer. Up against Grand Reserve Plum Porter. Whew. Luckily, the Plum Porter's got its own things that really pull me in. Out of 5 for me, yeah, good 4.55, easy. Would I drink it again? Hell yes. Would I buy it again? Hell yes. So that tells you all you need to know. Cracking beer. Thank you for watching. See you soon.